Hi, friends. Welcome to our first class of 2025. I'm still working through a cold, so you just ignore my voice. But I'm so happy to connect with you guys and start a brand new year. A little bit about Cosmic Alchemy Academy. I have done the techniques that you see here for my private clients for about 7 years now. And I'm really happy because every time my private clients start a new year, we have momentum to build off of. And so there's a lot of you here who are going into year two of Cosmic Alchemy Academy, and you'll start to notice that you're going to bring in the previous momentum or the momentum of last year into everything that you do this year. And what that brings you is long-term success because the universe doesn't quite work as quickly, sometimes as quickly as we would like it, especially in areas that are karmic for us. And karmic areas, shadowy karmic areas are South Node, Chiron, Saturn aspects, okay? So these are expected to take kind of a long time. They're harder things for us to deal with, harder concepts. But over time, the more that we start working on this and build what's easy for us and continue building what's difficult for us, it begins to create a smooth trail and what I call momentum. And things start building off of each other. And so I want you to notice that for those of you who are on year two, that energy is driving itself now. And for those of you who are year one, I want you to observe that year one is ironing out all the wrinkles and bringing awareness to certain aspects of yourself, creating plans for things that are difficult for you. It's running through this rummage and creating order from it. So there's going to be seasons that you come into that are karmic, and you're going to come into seasons that are not that big of a deal. It's just passing time. And then there's seasons that miracles happen. And all of this you're able to keep track of. And you do that on your data book. So hopefully everybody has their planner by now. And in this planner, I want you to write down everything that comes up for you, good and bad, things that stand out, because we can track these energy deposits through the transits, and that's what you need to know. I know some of you mentioned that the new moon in Capricorn, or just right around New Year's, was a difficult time. Well, we had a very difficult Mars-Pluto opposition, the second one that we've had. And with you writing this data down, we know that it's these two planets that are showing up in your life. And so we begin to create a healthier relationship and understand what these planets want to do through us. So that's why I want you all to use this planner and give go into the Q&A channel to ask questions about what comes up for you. Of course, as well as doing your new moon and full moon homework and anything else that comes up in between. Okay, so I'm super excited for you guys to be here and start a brand new year. What else do I have to say? um, there's a lot of new things that we're going to be learning as well when it comes to the universal laws, which is what I'm really excited about. Universal laws to me kind of take the responsibility away from astrology and more into universal themes, and we can appreciate archetypes for what they are. Give me just, I had to cough a little bit. Okay, so we can appreciate archetypes for what they are, and we are going into a little bit of a renaissance this year in 2025 because of the power structures that are going to visibly change. We've been working on actively moving through them, breaking them down. but we're going to start to see the scales shift and tilt. And I call this a renaissance. We never seen anything like it before. And it's kind of bittersweet because I know we all know that we're living in historic times, but we don't know what to call it yet. We don't know what to like look back in history and say this was that because we're literally in it. We're writing these stories every single day. And we just know that we're alive for it. We're witnessing it. And we're witnessing this big transformation. And for as much as I like to see the whole world, the only thing you can really control is yourself. And so that's why doing things like this mentorship and astrological awareness is so important because this is our part in co-creating with the universe. And this is how I see the work that we do anyways. And it ends up building up to your Disneyland, to your whatever is your happiness and your joy center. That's what we're doing and coming into that. So in 2025, I'm also going to be catering to the entrepreneur, which I think is very important because a lot of people are working for themselves and are thinking of ways to do this. And anyway, in the future, as we go into it, this is what's going to take up, this is the job style, employee style, I should say, that I think is going to take over in the future. So sovereignty, autonomy, and self-direction are very important. And that's what I think this mentorship also helps you with. Okay. So we didn't necessarily look into the Capricorn new moon. So I'm going to touch on it just a little bit right now. But this class is for the Cancer full moon. Okay. And the Cancer full moon is a week from now. I wanted to do it this way because I want you to learn how to read energy and I want you to be prepared for the Cancer full moon. So, with us talking about it a week before, you have time to listen to the recording, to do your homework, to prepare your ritual, and then see what comes up. See what comes up for you and observe it, recognize it, and create a plan around it and learn and essentially learn how energy moves through you. Some new moons and full moons are going to be more difficult. And that's why we are here to get support through all these periods. Okay. Now, this Cancer full moon, well, we'll talk about it when we get into it. So I don't get too distracted. Let me turn this screen around. We'll go into the PowerPoint. So the Cancer full moon is 100% about emotional breakthroughs. And there is a lot of financial insight and opportunity here for us because of how the planets are all talking to each other. So a lot of people are being trained in how to navigate emotions and feelings. And this is going to be kind of a staple in the year 2025. And we talked a little bit about this in the yearly horoscope. So rooted in compassion, ready for change. Now, what are full moons? Full moons, actually, new moons and full moons come in pairs. So each new moon and full moon comes with its corresponding partner. So first we actually have the full moon, and then we have the corresponding new moon. So for the most part, we are experiencing the full moon in Cancer after having experienced the new moon in Capricorn. And that's kind of a switch we did in the new year. Because it just kind of, at the end of the year, things kind of get a little bit wobbly. But in theory, we experience the full moon first so we can make room for what the new moon wants to bring us. So in this case, we're going into the full moon in Cancer, which is making space for emotional independence. Okay. Now, I do want to touch a little bit on the Capricorn new moon because we didn't talk too much about it. But this Capricorn new moon was at 9 degrees And look at the Sabian symbol. This is the cutest Sabian symbol I had ever seen. An angel carrying a harp. So let's read this together. To the awakened being, it is clear that all life is not other than the expression of a single sound. The word of Genesis, the music of the spheres, the rhythm of life. Unless we tune in to that universal, eternal note, we will not hear God's voice. The melody is one of harmony and beauty carried with love as its tone. So in order to tune in, these are the qualities we seek to embody as a way of life. Now, what I take in regards to this new moon in Capricorn that happened on December 30th is that when change is happening and new breakthroughs are coming in, things get simple. And when things get simple, we cope through art. And we go into the simple languages of the universe. Some of these are music. This is also painting, poetry, and entertainment. These become critical things that we lean on when massive change is happening. And there's a couple reasons for that. Number one is because we don't know what we're looking at. So we kind of just need to simplify things as much as we can. This is what this makes me feel. I made a song, I made a painting, but we don't exactly have the word Renaissance took place or the Great Depression was happening. We don't have those titles in front of us. The other thing that happens is that things are new. We don't know what the new is. And because it's new, we're testing it out and playing around with it. So things are new and inexperienced. And when anything is new, it's not elaborate. So let me give you an example. We have a lot of experienced media that's coming up with stores. Like when you go out to do things, we're seeing a new wave of experiences. So we're not going to the stores anymore. We're not doing the errands like we used to because everything's online now. So buildings are starting to create experiences for people where they can come in and have a good time. So by my house here, we have a dome theater that just came in. I think it's, excuse me, I had to cough. But we have this new dome experience that's really cool because it's kind of like an immersive theater. And you have like a completely different experience than a regular movie theater. So what they did in this dome theater is they started playing a movie made out of AI, but we know AI is still being developed, so it's not all that good. Especially if you go to like Canva and you have Canva make you a video, it's kind of like you could tell it's not the highest quality of video, but it's still kind of impressive because we never had something that could just computerize a scene. So anyway, I went to Dome Theater and they were playing 4 movies or 4 shows. The first one was The Magic of the Universe. Second one was basically the magic of water life. The third one was magic of earth, mountains, forests. And the fourth one was the magic of life, just how life is born and dies. And what really stood out to me in this show was that this is so new that we had to keep it simple and we had to keep it to the root of life because that's the first simplest form of language. And what are we doing with this new thing? We're making art out of it. AI, we're making entertainment out of it. because we don't know what it will do in the future. We don't know how to use it yet. We're playing around with it. But another thing that stands out to me is when things are changing and when things are new, is that for us to explain it to each other, we also have to keep a general or a universal theme. A universal theme. Because if this company were to have made an AI movie of, I don't know, baking, they don't only catch a few people's attention because who really is into baking? But when it captures the universe, we can all relate to that. When it captures the ocean and the water world, we can all relate to that. So it's a unification. It's a way to unify us. When we don't know what's happening, when things are changing, and there truly is, honest to God, a renaissance happening in front of us, we begin to speak more simpler in terms we can understand through things that we can all relate to. And as a matter of fact, have a human nature to gravitate towards, which is everybody loves to see water. It's home, literally. Water is mother, okay? We're all born in a sack of water. Everybody loves to see the universe. It's mimicked throughout us, inside our body and outside our body. It's beautiful. And everybody likes to see the earth we live on because we're here. We don't have any other choice. We can't go to Mars. We have to admire the earth that we're in. So it's universal. It brings us all together. We can all enjoy it. Now, was the AI good in this movie theater? Absolutely not. It was actually so bad. And the video was kind of skipping too. And, these tickets were not cheap. I was like, whatever. We're here to experience this. And this is what we got right now. In the future, this is going to be out of this world when they get better AI, when they can make more elaborate movies. Everything else was there as far as the experience goes. They had food, they had nice customer service. The place was beautiful. I forgot what it's called. It's the Dome Theater in England. But I think that brought a lot to me because we are going to see a rise in art this year. And there's a few pointers to this astrologically, but I want you guys to know why we're gravitating towards art and entertainment and artistic expression. It's not that we're not taking things seriously, is that when things get so crazy and so when so much change happens, we tend to simplify things to a point where we can understand and still relate to each other. So this new moon in Capricorn that just passed by came in to give us the sound of God, creative expression through sound and melodies and music. I will talk about this as we go into it as well, the astrology of it. But I wanted to kind of give a glimpse to the simplest languages of the universe. So I think the first language in the universe is numbers. Science numbers, mathematics. And everything is measured from 0 to 9. So the first language of the universe, if you want to know everything in life, become a mathematician. If you want to know the secrets to life, learn math. I had to learn math to do astrology. I was terrified of it. I learned just the parts I needed to learn, but I understood that math is life. Math is everything. And it's, if you want to lead not only just an intelligent life, but a spiritual life, learn math. So the first language of the universe, and it's not even that hard, actually, to be honest. Universal math is not that difficult when you're taught it all together. But when you separate it in algebra, geometry, miss me, you make it difficult because there's missing parts in it. But when you learn it all together, it's actually miraculous. The first language of the universe is math. The second language is sound. Math will make sounds. In music, symphonies. They say heaven plays the harp. Genuinely. And I'm getting the chills because I've had dreams of being here before in the spirit form. I've had dreams of, well, first of all, I fly the universe all the time, but I've had dreams where I go to this one specific area in the universe and I could hear God's harp, literally. Have you guys had that? Let me know. But I've had that. And they do say that there's certain areas of the universe in the heavens that you just play symphonies. So it's the second language of the universe. I would say the third language goes into astrology, where we get the glyphs and symbols. And so if you want to learn, if you want to teach someone things, and if you want someone to learn how to read, sorry, I'm gonna cough. If you want to teach someone something, you teach them symbols, sigils and symbols. And that's what creates astrology. One of the top 5 languages of the universe. Which you can read astrology through sound. We should do a little class on that too. Because I do have a software, an astrology software that if you plug in any birth chart and you kind of like click around it, it'll tell you the frequency of a person's planet. So everybody has different frequencies to them. So if I were to click your Mars, it would show me, it like literally play the sound of your Mars. And that's because we're all music and we're all math. Okay. So thank you to this new moon in Capricorn that's bringing intelligence of the universe to us. And permission to start expressing ourselves in a more creative way. Which Capricorn giving this to us is what? Okay, key astrological dynamics in this Cancer full moon. So the Cancer full moon is opposing the Sun in Capricorn. And it's creating a huge drift between emotional security and ambition. I want this so bad, it says this woman. I want this career so bad, but I also am not happy with my personal life is. My personal life is up the wall. I'm not spending enough time here. I'm not doing enough self-care. I'm not having enough one-on-one with my kids. I don't know if I'm okay with the way I'm parenting my kids. I'm not spending enough time with my family. I don't have a partner. I want to get married. I regret getting married. It's like all these things that we're going through in our personal life. That's what the Cancer full moon says. It's like, yes, you have put so much emphasis on this one thing, career, ambition, buying a house, buying a car. But is it coming at the sacrifice of your personal life? Right? So this full moon is meant to release a buildup of pressure. I promise I'm seeing a doctor, I'm getting better, I'm taking medicine, I'm doing all the things, okay? All right. This is a time where we're gonna release the pressure. It's just too much. We gotta release the pressure through detachment a little bit. I don't know how this is gonna end up to a certain extent. I'm gonna release the control of it. Now, in particular, this emotional intensity is going to be very high this month. And this is because we have the Mars Pluto opposition. And this Mars Pluto opposition is doing an eviction process. We're not done with the Pluto and Capricorn breakdowns. We're still kicking people out. I was told this by one of my astrology teachers who said, if you want to kick a ruler out, like a ruler of something, you're going to have Aries break down the door. You're going to have the Aries sign get their boots and bust open that door. And you're going to have an Aquarius tell the ruler, get the fuck out. You get the fuck out. And that's how you change rulership. Well, that energy is being mimicked right now with Mars, the ruler of Aries, opposing Pluto in Aquarius. So we have this eviction process going on that we saw in New Year's with all these attacks, cars blowing up. I really wonder why that didn't happen the first one, because we already had this Mars-Pluto opposition, and I was expecting that last time. And we have one more to go. So we're still doing these things where you gotta go. You gotta go, you gotta go, you gotta go. And the more that we do this, the more that we start picking at the top, the more that things are going to start to come down. So this full moon is a little bit too close to that Mars retrograde. So it's incredibly expected and normal for you to have too many emotions, just stirred up emotions. I wish my book was ready yet, my emotions book that I'm gonna come out with. That book is not an astrology book, but it's just a book on how to manage emotions. Because Lord knows we need it, especially in 2025. You guys know how the retrogrades are going to go. It's going to be all water, then fire. No Mercury retrogrades. Okay. So there's a few positive outlets in this Cancer new moon, which is a trine to Neptune. This is the beauty coming in, the art coming in. A trine to Neptune, which promotes empathy and healing, while a sextile to Uranus inspires emotional breakthroughs and new perspectives. Together, these aspects offer a chance to move forward with clarity and creativity. So these are the core aspects that we're going to see in this full moon. And we're going to spend more time with Neptune, and we're also going to spend more time with that Uranus. Okay, relationships are always under review in a full moon, because a full moon is the other. A full moon is the other. It doesn't matter really if you're single. It's learning how to have relationships with the outside world. So this full moon can naturally challenge relationships, especially people who are in families, because it's like, what are we building? What are we going to do? What do we want to do together? And there may be opposite opinions going on. The good thing is Venus is in Pisces, and she does wonderful in Pisces. Why? Because she can be dainty and creative. There isn't a lot of responsibility except to channel. You have to be a channel, a spiritual channel, and let what it inspires you to come through. So Venus in Pisces inspires unconditional love and compassion. And she's aligning with Saturn, which is urging for accountability and partnership. So we need to come to a conclusion. We need to come to a fair agreement. We need to reevaluate our contract together, is what this Venus is saying under this full moon. So Venus is also squaring Jupiter, which is kind of hard to make Venus and Jupiter negative. But it does tell us that we need to balance some things. So honest conversations when it comes to our relationships, and it has to be about what you feel. If you're going to talk to someone, it has to be about the feelings. I'm sad, I'm frustrated, because that's what Cancer is, right? So Venus is also the planet of abundance, and she's aspecting Saturn. So this talks about financial stability.